When we think of an android, the image that usually comes to mind is from science fiction. It's a machine built to look human, with a metal endoskeleton, synthetic skin, and a positronic brain. It's the stuff of Data from Star Trek or the replicants from Blade Runner. The core idea is that of an artificial being trying to replicate or pass for a biological one. But what if we have the definition backward? What if the real transition isn't about a machine becoming more like us, but about us becoming more like the machine?
The argument that we are already a type of android, or at least a proto-android, hinges on cybernetic limbs or implanted microchips, though those things do exist. It's about a much more subtle and profound integration. It's about the degree to which non-biological systems have become an inseparable part of our cognitive and social processes. The boundary between our mind and our tools has become incredibly blurry, perhaps to the point of being functionally non-existent.
The most obvious piece of evidence is the device that is likely within a few feet of you right now, your smartphone. We tend to think of it as a tool, like a hammer or a calculator, but its function has gone far beyond that. It's not just a tool we use, it's a component of our thinking process. This is the core of what's known as the extended mind thesis, put forward by philosophers Andy Clark and David Chalmers in the late 90s. Their idea was that the mind isn't confined to the skull. If an external object is constantly and immediately available, and we trust it as much as our own brain, it effectively becomes part of our cognitive system.
Think about your memory. How many phone numbers do you actually know by heart compared to 20 years ago? For most people, that number has plummeted. We have outsourced a significant portion of our semantic memory, the part that deals with facts and figures, to our devices. When you need to recall a piece of information, the first impulse is often not to search your own biological memory, but to query the digital extension of it. The process is seamless. Think, type, answer. This isn't just using a tool, it's a cognitive loop that runs through an external device.
The same is true for navigation. The classic study of London taxi drivers showed that their intensive training, which required them to memorize thousands of streets, physically changed their brains. Their posterior hippocampi, a region associated with spatial memory, were measurably larger than in control subjects. Today, with GPS, that kind of deep, embodied knowledge is becoming rare. We offload the entire cognitive task of navigating a complex environment to an application. We don't build a mental map, we follow a moving dot. Our brains are certainly being rewired by this new behavior, likely strengthening our ability to task switch and follow instructions, but potentially weakening our innate ability to form spatial representations. Our sense of direction is no longer just in our head, it's co-produced by our brain and a satellite network.
This reliance isn't a sign of laziness or failure, it's a deeply human trait. We have always been tool users, and our core evolutionary advantage is our ability to create and integrate tools to overcome our biological limitations. Writing was one of the first and most profound examples of this. A written text is a way to offload memory, to store it externally with high fidelity, and share it across time and space. The printing press amplified this 1,000-fold, creating a shared external memory for our entire civilization.
What makes the current era different is the interactivity and the feedback loop. A book is a static object. You can access its information, but it doesn't actively participate in your thought process. Your phone, on the other hand, does. Its algorithms are constantly working, anticipating your needs, suggesting information, and shaping the very questions you ask. It's an active partner in your cognition, not a passive repository of data. When your search engine auto-completes your query, it's literally finishing your thought, guiding it down a path determined by a vast data set of other people's thoughts. This is a level of cognitive integration that is fundamentally new.
Beyond cognition, this integration is also deeply biological. The systems we use are designed to hack our neural reward pathways. The endless scroll on a social media feed, the variable rewards of notifications, the appeal of curated perfection, all of these are designed to trigger dopamine releases in our brains. They create a compulsion loop that keeps us engaged. This isn't just a psychological effect, it's a biochemical one. An external artificial system is directly manipulating the chemical environment of our brains to shape our behavior. If an android is a fusion of the organic and the synthetic, then a human whose emotional state and attention are being regulated by a corporate algorithm seems to fit the description in a functional sense. Our very social structures have been re-engineered along these lines. Our social lives are no longer purely organic. They are mediated by platforms whose goals, like engagement and ad revenue, are not necessarily aligned with our own well-being. The algorithms that decide what you see in your feed are acting as a kind of non-human social arbiter. They determine who you stay in touch with, what news you perceive as important, and even what social and political bubbles you inhabit. We are performing our identities on these digital stages, and our relationships are maintained through these artificial channels. We have, in essence, plugged our social brains into a global, machine-regulated network. We've created a cyborg social organism.
Then there is the more literal, physical integration of technology with the body. This is where the line gets even clearer. A person with a modern pacemaker has a computerized device hardwired to their heart, regulating its most fundamental rhythm. Someone with a cochlear implant has a device that directly translates digital signals into neural information that their brain perceives as sound. This is not a metaphor. It is a direct interface between silicon and neurons.
Advanced prosthetics are another powerful example. We're moving beyond passive plastic limbs. Companies like Dika and research labs at places like MIT are creating neurally integrated prosthetics. These are limbs that can be controlled by the user's thoughts, reading the electrical signals from their nerves. Even more remarkably, they can provide sensory feedback. Tiny motors and sensors in the prosthetic hand can translate pressure and texture into signals that are sent back into the user's nerves, allowing them to feel what the artificial hand is touching. At that point, where does the body end and the machine begin? The tool is no longer an external object, it is an integrated, sensate part of the self.
Even for those without medical implants, our bodies are adapting. We see changes in posture from hunching over screens, the so-called tech neck. Our thumbs have developed new dexterity for swiping and typing on glass. Our eyes are adapting to focusing on close-range, backlit screens for hours on end, leading to a global rise in myopia. Our biology is being physically reshaped by our symbiosis with our devices. These are small adaptations, to be sure, but they demonstrate that the integration is not just cognitive and social, it is also physical. So, if our memory, our navigational abilities, our social interactions, our emotional regulation, and in some cases, our direct physiological functions are inextricably intertwined with and dependent on non-biological systems, then the classic definition of a human as a discrete, autonomous biological entity starts to seem outdated.
We are not the self-contained individuals we might imagine ourselves to be. We are composite beings, our consciousness and biology constantly interacting with and being shaped by a technological layer.
The original concept of an android was a machine striving for humanity. What we are becoming is something different, a human being whose existence is defined by a deep and pervasive integration with the artificial. We aren't robots in disguise. We are humans, but humans who have offloaded parts of our minds, outsourced parts of our social instincts, and in some cases, replaced parts of our bodies with technology. The integration is not hidden beneath synthetic skin. It's happening in plain sight, through the glowing screens we hold in our hands and the invisible networks that connect them. The question is not whether we will one day merge with machines. The real question is recognizing that we already have, and now we have to figure out what that means.